welcome to Moonlit Fly Fishing, fly tying night tonight. I'm Brandon Moon as always, and tonight we're going to be tying up a really cool pattern. We're going to combine the Pheasant Tail Nymph with Charlie Craven's 2-bit hooker. This is going to make this pattern super effective, very easy to get down in the water column into the feeding zone, and just increases the effectiveness of the Pheasant Tail Nymph in doing so. Great anchor fly as well. So with that, we want to go ahead and get started. Please let us know what you think in the comment section about this pattern, and we'd love to hear from you, and we'll see you next time. The hook that we're going to be using today is the Moonlit Premium Tagata ML501. Feel free to substitute the 502 on this as well. The beads that we're using for the size 14 on the Tagata today is the 3.0 millimeter for the front and 2.5 for the back bead. Always downsize the bead in the back just to give it a nice little taper profile. The thread we're using, Simperfly Classic Wax 12/0 in purple. We like this because it lays flat. We're going to tie that in, snip off the tag end with our razor blade, and then continue wrapping to the back bend of the hook, making nice even wraps. We're going to take 4 strands of pheasant tail fibers, and we're going to measure them out. We want this to be roughly 3/4 the length of the hook shank. We'll tie that in. And we're going to tie this and wrap it and secure it all the way up into the bead of the hook. I'm going to go in front just to lock it in place. I like using a razor blade to trim this out because I get a really clean trim and cut there. I'm going to go forward about 2 wraps and take a 0.2 millimeter tying wire from Simperfly. This is the dark purple. Now I'm going to secure that in. I've got that wire measured to go, and when I go forward and finish, it will wrap all the way up to the bead. So we're going to take this and wrap all the way back to the tail point where we tied that in. At this point, we're going to take 4 to 6 strands of pheasant tail fibers again. I'm going to pull those off, and I'm going to tie them in at the tip. And I like tying them in at the tip for this just because I have greater control gripping with the tail fibers there. You can see there's a little more surface area to get. I'm going to trim out those tail fibers so that I can trim them up right next to the bead of the hook. You can see I missed a little piece there. We'll trim that out, clean it up just a little bit. Now I'm going to half hitch this in just a second, but first I want to take and create a taper to my body just a little bit because the pheasant tail is not going to add much taper. So I'm going to go backwards about 2/3 and then 1/3 and then forward again and half hitch. Set that off to the side on my bobbin rest. Now I'm going to take my hackle pliers here. I'm going to clip those in. Okay, I'm going to use my rotary feature, and I'm going to wrap this opposite that I normally wrap because I'm going to counter wrap it with that wire, and I want that wire to go underneath the tail, so you'll see in just a minute. I'll wrap that all the way up into the bead where I'm going to take and crisscross to lock this in. You can see front and back over the top. Now I'm going to lift that up with my hackle pliers and use my razor blade again, trim that out. You can see it's a nice good clean trim. Make sure I secure that off. Now I'm going to take and slide that wire underneath my tail. You can see how that props my tail up nice and neat. Then we're going to open spiral wrap, and I'm going to get 4 wraps into this going up to the bead. I'll wrap that, secure it down over the top, in front, over the top, in front again just to lock it in, helicopter this out. The helicopter technique's going to get it nice and clean. Now we're going to take and tie in our wing case here. So I've got 1/16 inch flat Tinsel Mirage iris, and I'm going to kind of tie that in at the side and just kind of slide it and pull it so that it comes up on top. And I'm going to pull it pretty much all the way through there, but there's a little tag in there you can see. Now I'm going to take a small little dubbing, the Moonlit Pine Squirrel in purple, and this is just to kind of cover up that point where I tied in the tinsel. You don't have to do this, I just like to do it. It gives me a little bit of a buggy look there. Transition into the thorax. Now we're going to tie in our legs, so we're going to take a strand of Simperfly's Micro Glint and we're going to double it over and then double it over again after we've cut it, so I now have 4 strands. We'll lay that across and tie it in. You can see I'm going to go in front to kind of help lock that in place as to where I want it. I'm going to trim this out on this side now where I've already got it, and I'm going to trim it out at that hook point there. And then I'm going to take and half hitch this real quick because I want a Hotspot Collar here. And trim that out. Now we'll take and trim out the other legs on the other side, roughly the same length at that hook point there. Now I'm going to take some 12/0 floral green classic wax thread, and I'm just going to go over the top twice and then behind it twice just to kind of lock it in place. Snip it out with my razor blade. Now I'm going to pull, and I want this pulled over so that it's nice and straight over the top, and it's going to be on the side just a little bit at start, and then I can maneuver that where I need to at this point if I need to adjust it. I'm going to go in front twice, and then typically I want to snip that just about a little snip so I can just push it off or pull the rest of it off, but I always pull that tinsel back so that we can clean it up. Now we're going to take some Solares thin hard, and we're going to create a little bit of a casing over the top of that and into the thread so that we can make sure we clean up and secure that knot. Now you'll cure it up with some glue, and there you have the 2-bit Pheasant Tail Nymph.